Hello, my name is Lillian Wood, and today I really wanted to talk about snakes and their evolutionary history. We're going to be going over their branching evolutionary lines, where they come from, where they are now, and modern examples, including different evolutionary traits that they have adapted over time in order to better blend in or stand out or survive in their environments. Starting off, we're going to go back to the earliest form of snakes. Snakes are reptiles within the larger group of squadmates, meaning they share ancestry with lizards. Their earliest ancestors were lizard-like reptiles that gradually evolved longer bodies and shorter limbs and more flexible skulls for eating. Some early snakes even had small hind limbs, like the basal snake here, which is the earlier form of snakes, which is one of the earlier forms of snakes from roughly 140 million years ago and are some of the first snakes properly branching off from these squad mates. These later on, more advanced snakes diversified into major groups such as boas, pythons, vipers, elabrids, and colubrids. Moving on to blind snakes. These snakes split into early burrowing forms like blind snakes and are one of the bases for their more advanced species. But these were early burrowing forms of snakes better adapted to living and fitting in burrows, and legs only got in the way over time, which then led on to our more complicated snake lines, such as the colubridae. The colubridae sits over three different categories that I particularly want to go through: the vipers, the elabrids, and the colubrids. It includes many of the more modern snakes, and vipers in particular are known for their long, hinged fangs, often used in ambush hunting, and their venom is more commonly tissue and blood affecting. Rattlesnakes and copperheads are examples, while elapids, like the black mamba, are another branch of Colubridae, but they have shorter, fixed fangs and often rely on more neurotoxic venom, which affects the nervous system. Cobras, coral snakes, mambas, and many Australian snakes are elapids. Compared to vipers, many elapids are more active hunters, and the black mamba is diurnal. I wanted to talk about the black mamba in particular because one of the three snakes we're going to dive into in particular because I wanted to talk about their evolutionary traits that they evolved in order to stand out and better fit and survive in their environments. Black mamba on this photo on the right is obviously not black. It is most often a brown or an olive green coloration with a white belly. However, we can see where they got their name in the photo on the left with the inky black threat display in their mouth. And it's exactly like I just said. When intimidated by predators or trying to scare people for protecting its life, it will open its mouth and its mouth will turn an inky black mess. And that's done as a threat display to try to intimidate predators and give it time to escape or use its very, very deadly venom to affect and harm its predators. Next, we have the lovely colubrids, and I love these. One branch of the colubrids is the colubridae, which includes many rat snakes. The old world rat snakes, like blue rat snakes, in particular the Vietnamese blue beauty old world rat snake, demonstrated here, are slender, active, and very good climbers. Many show arboreal tendencies and behaviors, such as holding their bodies along branches or roots, flattening vertically when threatened to appear bigger facing front to front instead of looking down from above, and actually vibrating, like not vibrating, but wagging their tails defensively instead of vibrating it like many rattlesnakes and other snakes trying to imitate rattlesnakes do. They're very beautiful, and their pattern kind of switches along one third of their body. Their pattern changes, and they're known for these distinct black eye masks. And one other trait about them is when they are on the forest floor or on the ground, they might look like they are kinked or damaged because they will hold their body to look very rough and jagged like a tree root just poking out of the earth. They've adapted to blend in and stay very high in the trees, and they're incredibly strong for maintaining this lifestyle. Another branch is the Natricinae. Haha, no, it's not. This is a legless lizard. Legless lizards are not snakes, although it sounds like it would be a snake, but instead this is an example of convergent evolution, or when two different species evolve similar traits as a result of the environment and allowing them to best fit into their environment. Legless lizards are found in Europe area and they live in burrows and legs just got in the way over time. You can identify these are separate from snakes based off of their ear holes. You can't really see it here. Eyelids, which snakes do not have, they have a scale over their eye, and their cloaca, which is their poop hole, and it's actually located only roughly a third or a fourth of the way down their body, as opposed to a snake where it's around three-fourths of the way down their body. That means that the last two-thirds of their body is actually just their tail. And they have a stubby neck. They don't have any identified neck space, and they have a very blocky, triangular sort of shaped head with no defining neck in between. They also have a lateral line going all the way down on both sides, which is a skin flap for some reason. Again, this is an example of convergent evolution and how they were using how evolutionary traits evolved over time to help them best fit their environment, creating lookalikes. Now, here's actually the nature scenario. This includes garter snakes, decays, brown snakes, and water snakes. I want to talk about garter snakes because they're particularly incredible and amazing to me, and these are all native to North Carolina. I wanted to talk about our native species to prevent um, unnecessary killing of garter snakes, which are native to North Carolina. They are defined with these round pupils. They are diurnal, and they have this beautiful lateral yellow stripe along them. This is particularly the common garter snake. They often are semi-aquatic. They eat fish, slugs, sometimes mice, but they um eat whatever they can find. They are not picky, and they survive in all sorts of environments and are very popular pets. They actually cohabitate with each other, and they do form bonds out in the wild, and they live in small groups. They also, one of their defining factors is that they give live birth instead of laying eggs. This is useful in cooler environments because the mother can help regulate embryo temperature by moving between sun and shade instead of just laying them in one place and then leaving them as is. So, overall, the big evolutionary pattern is this. Snakes evolved from different lizard-like ancestors and then split into many specialized branches. Vipers became efficient ambush predators, elapids evolved fixed-fanged neurotoxic systems and active hunting styles, and old world rat snakes became agile climbing colubrids, and nature snakes became flexible temperate zone snakes with traits like live birth and strong swimming or ground movement. The main takeaway is that snake evolution is not one straight line. It is a branching tree, and when different groups solved different survival problems in different ways depending on the habitat, prey, climate, and body form, it created the incredibly diverse group of reptiles, which is underrated and often commonly feared despite their variety and interesting nature. Here are the sources, and lots of my data is from working with reptiles in different areas of my life. Thank you so much for bearing with me through this presentation. I hope you learned something new or just refreshed your data a bit. Thank you so much for this class. It's been an incredible experience. Have a lovely summer.